From 1920s gangsters to space hippies, Star Trek has never been above a good gimmick, and this Star Trek, The Next Generation episode uses an absurd gimmick surprisingly well. Following the adventures of Captain Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart, and his crew aboard the USS Enterprise D, TNG ushered in a new era for the Star Trek franchise. Like Star Trek, the original series, TNG found unique ways to tell classic sci-fi stories that made excellent use of the show's beloved characters. After 5 20-plus episode seasons, Star Trek, The Next Generation was able to keep the hits coming, impressively. TNG Season 6 gave us the iconic and brutal Chain of Command two-parter, the compelling Face of the Enemy, and the genuinely unsettling Frame of Mind. TNG Season 6 also delivered the incredibly fun Rascals, which finds Captain Picard and 3 of his crew transformed into children while Ferengi take over the Enterprise. This doesn't sound like a particularly great premise, but Rascals somehow makes it work. Star Trek, The Next Generation's Rascals worked better than it had any right to. TNG Season 6, Episode 7 Rascals has many fun moments. Rascals centers on Picard, Guinan, Whoopi Goldberg, Ensign Ro Laren, Michelle Forbes, and Keiko O'Brien, Rosalind Chow, after a transporter accident turns them into children. The plotline also involves a group of Ferengi taking over the Enterprise. Captain Picard, David Tristan Birkin, struggles to command authority as a 12-year-old, prompting Commander William Riker, Jonathan Frakes, to take command. One of the episode's most iconic moments comes when Picard slips up in front of the Ferengi and refers to Riker as Number 1. Picard quickly corrects himself, clarifying that Riker is his Number 1 dad. Meanwhile, Chief Miles O'Brien, Colm Meaney, isn't quite sure how to react to his wife Keiko's, Caroline Junko King, transformation, and their daughter, Molly, Hannah Hartai, doesn't even recognize her own mother. Guinan, Isis Carmen Jones, embraces her temporary adolescence and encourages Ro, Megan Parlen, to experience a childhood she never had. All 4 child actors deliver solid performances, and the episode combines humor and heart to offer some surprising insight into its characters. Ferengi themselves are not very bright, but Rascals mostly works despite its ridiculous premise. Young Picard and Guinan have other Star Trek connections. In different ways, young Picard and young Guinan appeared in other Trek episodes. Actor David Tristan Birkin, who portrayed the young Jean-Luc, had previously appeared in Star Trek, The Next Generation Season 4, Episode 2, Family, as Picard's nephew, Rene. With a small role, Birkin did not make much of an impression in Family, but he's great as a young Picard. He nicely channels his inner Patrick Stewart and does a good job portraying Picard's frustration at not being taken seriously. It's not hard to imagine Birkin really is a young version of the Enterprise D captain, and this holds true for the other child actors as well. The young Guinan, Isis Carmen Jones, had previously played a young Whoopi Goldberg in 1992's Sister Act, and she does great work here as a particularly playful Guinan. A young adult version of Guinan, portrayed by Ito Aguirre, appeared in Star Trek, Picard Season 2, offering insight into Guinan's life in the 21st century. She was considering leaving Earth and humanity behind for good but ultimately decided to stick around after meeting Jean-Luc Picard. With its fascinating combination of characters, Star Trek, The Next Generation's Rascals took a ridiculous premise and pulled it off surprisingly well.